make sure this.
That is completed performance, rushing and passing, and would you happen to recall the last time you scored touchdowns on 4 consecutive possessions?
Yeah, it's been a while. Probably not this year. So, it was slow going. They were playing a bunch of shell. They came in, they had a certain amount of pressure percentage that they played, and expected them to play maybe a little more one high. Now last week, Baltimore played a lot of one high, and we hit some shots down the field. So I expected them to play some more shell, but it was a lot of shell. So we had to be efficient, dink and dunk at times, and kind of take what was there. And then we, once we started to run the ball, everything opened up, and the action game opened up, and hit a couple keepers. Finally converted some third downs, held the football. So that drive was a big one. After they got the field goal, right, to go up 3-0, we went, and they had the short kick and went 60. For us to keep the ball for the last, 4, whatever it was on the clock, and give no time was good. Then we came out and we got a first down, and we scored. So that was good to double up like that. Kept the momentum going. A lot of guys made plays today. Would like to get some more opportunities for, obviously for DK, but Kenny had a fantastic game, 26 combined yards. Pat had some nice plays. Marquez had a touchdown. That was awesome. Asante Samuel, had a pick. Junior, I should add, because I played against his dad. So it's kind of what I said after the game. There's some cast-offs if you look at our roster, which makes it really special. Kenny Gainwell signed a next-to-nothing contract. Connor Heyward, an afterthought, had a touchdown run. Marquez been on a couple teams. Adam Thielen got cut. Samuel was on the street for a long time. So it says a lot about the character of the guys we brought in.
Do you consider yourself one of those cast-offs too?
No, I'm not a cast-off.
Aaron, you talked about your guys' ability to hit the cover two when they went to their too high. You guys attacked the middle part of the field. He had 2 big plays there. What can you say about just the work that you guys have been to put in to make sure to capitalize when teams do that, even when they disguise it?
I don't think we did that a whole lot. First 24 minutes of the game, but we started to get some things going. Obviously, I had one to DK early for 22. But the play by DK was one of the better plays I've seen in my 21 years. There's a play by Dolan Driver back in 2009, which was one of the greatest catch and runs I've ever seen. But that was pretty special. Tight window catch, juke, hard stiff arm. That was fun to see him get that one. But there was a lot of little plays that made a big difference. I thought all 3 of Pat's catches were adjustments and. Where he did, really good stuff. And we haven't got Pat involved as much as obviously I would have liked, but, those are 3 impactful plays.
Aaron, how important to win back-to-back games, something you guys hadn't done since early October?
Has it been that long? Yeah. These are two huge games. Obviously, the division game is the most important game, but these guys have won 4 straight coming in. We know, some of us, maybe a few of us, know about how obviously the first way to get to the playoffs is win your division. There's, having beaten Baltimore already. There's obviously tiebreakers that come into effect, including divisional record, conference record. So winning your AFC games are really important. Keeping the one game lead plus the head-to-head is big as well.
You had a stretch of 13 consecutive completions. It's your highest completion percentage since 2014. Did you feel like you were locking into a rhythm early? What kind of led to that?
Probably the cold weather. I'm a California kid, but I've always enjoyed playing in the cold weather. I feel like there can be some advantages to the offense, especially when you're playing on a field that's a little beat up or super slick, like Green Bay became over the years. So I've always enjoyed that. I'm gifted with hands that can handle a cold ball and a ball that's a little slick when the weather gets cold like this. So always been able to throw it pretty good, but that's doesn't tell the whole story. There were some nice catches. There were some good adjustments. There were some dink and dunks. But I knew I needed to be efficient today, especially if I didn't play a bunch of shell, and I feel like we were pretty efficient.
What was the impact Kenny G had in this game?
Yeah, it's really every game. I think the run that he had, 38 yards, I believe, on just a simple inside zone week, just his vision, just fun to watch. I can't tell you exactly what I call him every week because there's some expletives in there, but I love playing with him. I really do. I mean, he is as smart as they come. He is super smart, and I still cannot believe what we got him for. I told him a long time ago my goal was to get him paid because I've been a fan of his since he was in Philly and thought that every time he went in the game, something good happens. And just to be able to play with him and the type of guy that he is, man, I can't say enough good things about Kenny. Every single game, it seems like he comes up with impactful plays and makes guys miss and catches the ball. I mean, I was telling, who was that? I think it was Marquez on the sideline. I just like, one of the most impressive things is to watch us like on Friday practice just do pat and go drill, which is just an over the shoulder drill. He is as fluid as anybody on the team catching the football. And again, for a guy that's making damn near vet minimum, he's been a tremendous asset to our team this year.
Aaron, you guys have won back-to-back games against teams that have won 4 out of their last 5. Do you feel like you guys are starting to play your best ball that you have this season? And what's clicking for you guys that you see working for this team right now?
Well, I think the defense has played really well the last couple of weeks. Obviously, we're up 28-3 at one point. I thought I might get to take a seat on the bench and let Mason get in there, but they got good football players. They made a couple plays, but to hold them to 15 points, it's a game we should win. Last week, 22 points, game we should win. Offensively, I feel like Art got into a really good rhythm today, especially second quarter on, and it wasn't his fault in the first quarter. We just didn't execute very well. We put ourselves behind the chains a few times, but him and I got a real good relationship. Spent a lot of time together during the weeks, and I felt like he was, really good situationally with the calls. And then we've converted, I think, 3 4th downs as well. But if you look at the big stat that's been killing us a lot of the season is the time possession. And today we had quadruple 4s, or 3s, sorry, quadruple 3s. So, we're obviously up by 6 and change in that department, which was really important.
Aaron, you talked about wanting to play meaningful December football. That was one of the reasons you wanted to come here and play.
Keep playing,
Your play tonight, I mean, does it feel different in December? I mean, Ben was talking to us before the game and said when it's in the fourth quarter and when he's watching the game, he still feels it, like that adrenaline sort of pump. And I'm curious, is it different for you in December than it might be in September?
Well, 22, we were 4-8 at one point. We won 4 straight and gave ourselves a chance. 23, I played 4 plays. 24, we weren't very good. So it's been a while since been a part of stuff like this. Nothing changes. It's just, I feel real comfortable in this environment. Obviously, the crowd was really good tonight, but I feel comfortable in the cold weather, and I've always been able to throw pretty good in the cold over the years in Green Bay, and it can be an advantage if you embrace it.
You talk about that tight today.
You and then
Guys.
you. 1, 2, 1.
You talked about that tight window to DK earlier, and you talked about the cold weather. We kind of like to call it the zone, or that part where you're just feeling it. Is that fair to say that you're kind of in that realm tonight, or no?
I felt good. I feel like to be in the zone, maybe there'd be some more like down the field shots. I mean, it wasn't because of the defense they were playing, the soft coverage, especially at the safety position. There wasn't a ton of down the field shots. So I think it was a very efficient game. But I expect in that type of game to be efficient. And obviously in this case, we caught the ball, we got open. But the zone is a state, the flow state is, they like to put the tag on it now. It's like, that's obviously the desired destination every single week, but it's all about efficiency and being smart with the football.
Last one, Kevin.
Yes, Aaron, very balanced offense today. 28 points, you were able to run as well as pass the ball. So moving forward, how much should we expect from this offense?
You guys can expect whatever the hell you want, but we were 4-13 on 3rd down. A lot of that's in the first half and the 4-minute drill. But 3 of 3 on 4th down was good. We finally had more, 62 plays, which we haven't been doing in a while. Obviously efficient throwing the football. We had 3 sacks. One of them was on me to keep the clock going in the 4th quarter. So really just 2 sacks, 3 for 3 in the red zone. we haven't been the most dynamic, explosive offense this season, but I feel like we've been good in the red zone. I don't know where we're at league-wide, but we got to be in the, upper half at minimum, I would assume. And, we've had stretches where we played good football. I think tonight was the first time we had complimentary football in all three phases, and that's the standard. So we're going to try and meet that next week in Detroit, or this week in Detroit.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thanks, Aaron.
Good night.
Cam is having a- Questions for Cam?
And what were you guys doing defensively that you were able to shut down their run game so effectively, especially early?
I thought we were able to limit as much as possible. Got off the field early in some instances. I thought our tackling was a lot better. One play I loved was PQ on that third down late in the second half. Really shooting the gap. And I just felt like a lot of guys played downhill from there.
Cam, do you feel like you guys are starting to hit your stride?
We'll see. We got a lot of work to do, and we got a lot in front of us. And I love the challenges that are in front of us, and I think our group does too.
Cam, historically, you guys have not been that great when TJ's not in the lineup. What was different tonight than maybe some past experiences?
I don't really know. Obviously we miss TJ, but I think we've had, other guys step up. In the past we haven't really had, Alex, Nick, Jack, to kind of make up that collective. But, it's not a one-man team. It's not a one-man defense. We all got to thrive. We all got to play our best ball in December. And the way I look at it is, we just bought a week off for TJ. I don't know when he's coming back, but, his legs should be feeling good.
Did you tell him you were going to ahead of time, that the celebration, that celebrate exactly like he did?
Yeah, me, Nick, and Alex had talked about it. I don't think I got my leg up high enough, but, we all wanted to shout out TJ.
This is back-to-back wins for you guys. For the first time since you were 4-1, obviously, you want to stack wins throughout the season, but how crucial is it to get back to that as, we get to this point in the regular season?
Got to stack them like hotcakes. It's in this game, it's very precious to get a win, and we don't take them for granted. Each week we have to prepare for the opponent, and each week, I look at who we have in front of us. It all comes down to stopping the run and running the ball, and we were able to do both today.
You mentioned that play by Queen. Overall, with 9 solo tackles, how much was he leading by example out there today?
Yeah, PQ is growing in this defense. He feels more confident. Whether he's talking about a play, Nick's in a play, he is the vocal leader on our defense when it comes to having plays and getting us lined up. But when he can flow downhill, I don't think anybody can stop him.
Yeah, we've had a lot of games where you've been leading at the half that haven't gone your way this year. This time, that third quarter might have been the best you played all season. What was different this time around?
We talk so much about double dipping before half, and it's the game within the game. We get 7 points late, and then, the second half comes, and our offense really ran the ball well, and then that caused confusion on the back end with the pass. But when you're able to get 14 points like that, it really makes it hard for a team to overcome that early in the half. So, and I just felt like the offense controlled the line of scrimmage the entire game, and then, as a defense, we were able to get off quickly. The best defense is the defense on the sideline.
You guys haven't had a lot of games where you dominated the offensive time of possession. What did that mean for you guys that they were able to do that tonight?
I love it. I love being on the sideline. I'd like to keep my legs as fresh as possible going into this run, and when our offense can just move the ball, convert third downs, fourth downs, you name it, defense is happy about that.
Last time you guys were in this building, fans are voicing their frustrations. You guys were on a bit of a skid. What did it take from a leadership standpoint to turn things around and come up with 2 significant wins back-to-back?
I think it comes down to just owning and being accountable of what you do. I understand our fans are passionate, but our players are passionate, our coaches are passionate. We hold ourselves to a higher standard here, and when you play for a team like this that's had a lot of success, and we're not responsible for that. Those guys before, we're trying to grasp what they did, but the expectations are high, and we like it that way.
Aaron just mentioned that a lot of cast-offs, as he called them, are guys that were big contributors. Thielen, MVS, Asante Samuel Jr. I mean, what does it say about some of these new guys that have come in midstream and have really made a huge impact on this team and kind of contributed to this run you guys are on?
It's a testament to guys buying in. Coach always talks about jumping on a moving train, and these guys are professionals. I'm watching as soon as Thielen gets here, he's opening up his playbook. He's still studying. And they spend a lot of time really just learning the offense, learning the defense. Sante's been really chomping at the bit to get some reps, and played very well with them.
Can you think of it goes down, and then Mike T and some of you guys, as former teammates, go out there to support him? What did that show support kind of mean for you guys to go out there and support and make who you played with for so long?
This game, I've had the pleasure of playing with a lot of great players, and Mika is one of them, and he's a great friend of mine. We were, a couple of us were in treatment last night, and we FaceTimed Mika just to, see how he was, and you knew he was going to be quiet going up to the game, but you knew this game was going to mean a lot to him, and that's my brother. I'm always going to check on him, and I know I wish he was here, and Mink's always been a guy that I always want to roll with.
What do you think of DK's touchdown?
Hell of an effort. He's physical, and when he plays mad like that, you better get out of his way.
On the flip side, with Jalen, obviously he has a sack of Tua. Did you get a sense that this game meant something for him to come out and have a big showing?
Yes. Jalen, I love Jalen's passion. I love the way he attacks and everything he does. And there was nothing stopping him today.
Cam, you all have 4 sacks today, one from at least each level of the defense. So what does that mean from a defensive standpoint when you can do that?
I think it just means, you got to keep your head on the swivel. Multiple guys can come and, shoot a gap, and you got to make sure you really are accounting for every guy. Our defense is flexible, and when guys do their jobs, we're able to get sacks.
You guys been leaning on a good bit, but fun to watch him get that one.
Yeah, O has been growing every week. I love the way he practices, love the way he asks questions, especially with D-Harm and, YA stepping up in the role. O has gotten a lot of reps, and, O has made the most out of his reps. And, we're building depth. And to watch him go out there and get a sack today, he's been kicking a whole lot of tail, and, I'm proud of him.
Great, thanks, Kim.
Thank you.